Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot and really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Those two unapologetically biased, orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Wednesday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe at Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there, join the militia. The two-game win streak for Syracuse comes to an end in an 81-58 loss on the road against 8th-ranked Virginia. You'll hear from us. We'll hear from you in fan feedback. And a win here would have obviously been great, but as it is, the loss sucks, but it isn't terrible. Syracuse did slip, though, in the KenPom rankings to 43rd and 50th in the net as of today after the loss. Virginia Tech did slip, too, as well. They're 47th. This remains a quad 2 win for Syracuse, still looking for the quad 1 win. So, root for Virginia Tech, I suppose. Oh, well, yeah. Right. So, anyways, a little bit of football news. A day late. We apologize about that. But let's do this. We're going to do a little football news quickly. I'll get Joe's thoughts on that. Then we're going to just talk about Virginia, and we'll be back tomorrow because Syracuse doesn't play till Sunday, and NC State plays tonight. This is Wednesday night at 7:00. They'll play in an hour against Wake Forest. So we kind of want to watch that game before we go ahead and give a preview. And I think we'll have all the up-to-date numbers and stats going into that preview tomorrow night, hopefully. So we're going to wait.
Instead of one full, it'll be 2 minis.
Yeah, too many episodes. It's a mini series, actually. So Quadir White, he's going to join Cooper Dawson, Nykeem Johnson, Aaron Hackett, Cam Jones, Jason Muniz, Jawar Jordan, Markenzie Pierre, and Cam Jonas in the transfer portal. Hasn't played much, but he's going to offensive lineman. He's going to enter the transfer portal. And also, offensive line coach Mike Cavanaugh, he's going to fill the same spot at Arizona State. So that was kind of, the transfer portal stuff here and there. A guy that hasn't played, he's had some struggles, and that doesn't surprise me. But the Mike Cavanaugh thing kind of caught me off guard, Joe.
Yeah. Hey, COVID year, it did me too. So, yeah. I get it. But with COVID and everything, and I know that there was a situation where his wife had to have a kidney transplant and some things like that. So you never really know what the motives are, but it did really come out of nowhere. And I don't really. There's probably a lot of fans out there that probably think that our offensive line has been the main issue the last 2 years, even though I think it's a little bit of injuries and obviously depth, but. I guess
depth.
we're just gonna have to fill it. You know what I mean? That's all.
Depth is our biggest issue there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, maybe that's the reason why Quadir White went to the transfer portal.
Yeah. Well,
maybe he had a relationship with him, and that was like his coach or whatever, and or maybe he had something to do with his injury, and he hasn't had a lot of playing time. Really hasn't broken the 2 deep at all since he's been there for the 3 years he's been there. So.
Right, exactly. So that doesn't come as a surprise. But so some Justin Lustig, obviously gone, assistant coach position to fill, offensive line coach position to fill, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So, they got plenty of time, but
plenty of time, plenty of work to do. Exactly. We're still trying to recruit.
It's like no steps forward, two steps back, because it seems like that's how it's felt anyway.
Yeah.
Just, it's like I saw a headline I didn't even read today. Just Syracuse sports in a nutshell. I longed for the time Syracuse was a consistent top 10. It's just like I don't even want to click on this. Because the thoughts crossed my mind so many times, and it just like. It is what it is.
I saw that too.
Did you read it? You didn't click it either. Okay, yeah. Anyways, all right, let's take a listen, hear what Coach Boeheim had to say after the loss to Virginia.
The game started out, we got some really good opportunities, some things that we wanted to get. We wanted to get it to Quincy around the basket area. I thought we got it there. We didn't finish there. We missed 2 or 3 layups early. Buddy got 3 or 4 really good looks from the perimeter. From the 3, I mean, those were all good looks. And, Virginia's a top 10 team in my mind, the way they're playing. No, Mike, you saw the lob pass. We got to help on that. Getting the ball in the middle, Hoff's good in there. You got to give something someplace, so you're going to give some shots up. They make threes against everybody. They make them against man-to-man zone. Doesn't matter. They're a good shooting team. We broke down a couple times. We should have gotten better position 2 or 3 times. We should have been there. We didn't rotate correctly. But no, I mean, we didn't cover shooters tonight as we need to, but we didn't. Our offense hurt us probably almost as much as our defense. We're down 9 at halftime. We had 6 or 7 really good looks, and we have to make those shots.
Obviously, you've watched Buddy shoot his whole life, and is there anything about his mechanics, or is it just the layup? Why isn't he able to make shots?
He's just he's a little bit off, and it's just it's the difference between shooting 29% from the 3 and 34% from 3 is 1 shot a game. 34% is okay. 29 is not so good. It's 1 shot. He's a little off, but he's getting more defensive pressure. But tonight I thought he really got good looks.
All right, the Coach Montage is brought to us by the title sponsor for the Cuse Militia and Armchair Media, and that is Bet Online. We got another NFL game to do.
Yes, we do. Who's playing, by the way?
I'm a little disappointed.
Who's in that game?
So I believe it's the Buccaneers versus the Chiefs, if I remember right. But I had the Bucs right. But here's the thing. Because as a Raiders fan, okay, I got to root for Tom Brady, bro. I got to do it.
Ooh.
I have to do it. Even after the whole Tuck Rule debacle, I don't know if I've ever rooted. I'm trying to think. I have not ever rooted for Tom Brady in a Super Bowl. And
I saw some. It was a meme for Buffalo fans: vote for the team that just beat you, or cheer for the team that just beat you, or cheer for Tom Brady.
Then they're cheering for Kansas City, I assume.
I don't know. It was just a meme, little cartoon.
Well, Buffalo, like I said, man, that's a tough game. That was a tough loss for them. They kind of got smoked a little bit.
It shouldn't really have been there, but
that's not true, Joe. That's not true. They played fantastic up to that point. They got lucky. Yeah, it was all luck. It was 8 wins in a row or something like that. It was all luck. Every bit of it. All right, listen, don't listen to Joe. Go to Bet Online. Sign up today. You might not be able to get to a game, but you can get to Bet Online. They're going the extra mile to make sure you can get in on everything imaginable this season, from game spreads and totals to team, player, coach, and props. Bet Online gives you more options to wager than any other place online. Head over there today. Use the promo code ARMCHAIR. Take advantage of all the great sign-up bonuses. Bet Online, your online sportsbook experts. Thank you, Bet Online. All right, so the good, the bad, the ugly. What?
Playoffs.
What? Playoffs? What? What about?
They were lucky in the playoffs. They were a good regular season team.
Well, look, Joe, I'm going to put you on the spot here. What part of the playoffs did they get lucky in?
The first
fumble
game
against Indianapolis?
It wasn't even the fumble. Indianapolis is actually the first team to have over 450 yards of offense and no turnovers and lose a playoff game. If they kick that field goal, they win. And then there was that whole fumble thing. I mean, come on.
Hater.
He got lucky.
Hater.
Whatever.
I can't help but love Josh Allen. I can't help it.
Well, it's fine because he's got to deal with Patty Mahomes for the rest of his career. So.
Yeah, I don't know about that. All right. The good, the bad, the ugly. Look, no one was injured. So that's good. That is really good. Okay. Q and Griffin, they were pretty good. Combined for 28 of the team's 58 points and 15 of the team's 28 rebounds. That's good for them. They struggled percentage-wise, and but the effort was there. The 2 games in a row against ranked opponents, and we split. I'll take it. It's good. Okay, 9 and 10 from the free throw line. That's good. The bad is we didn't get there enough because we are such a good free throw shooting team. We just did not get there enough.
Wasn't a lot of fouls.
It wasn't a lot of fouls.
10-8.
I know.
The whole game.
I know. And they could have. Could have called more, probably on both sides, but I saw a bunch.
Right.
Syracuse said it early and often with the 3-ball. They started off 0-7. Kadari, we look forward to seeing Kadari come in because he's kind of a difference maker. He had 2 quick turnovers. He wasn't as effective on the defensive end as we're used to seeing. Buddy was not great. Buddy almost got into the ugly. And you can make a case for that. But 5 turnovers, 1 for 7 from behind the arc, and 4 for 12 from the floor. The press, it looked promising until it didn't. They gave the ball right back a couple times, and then Huff is just posting up and camping out below the hoop, getting a couple easy ones. The ugly. The defense was abysmal. The Orange, they missed assignments all night. The coach said they missed a couple, but I don't know. It seemed like all night to me. They were chasing the ball a lot. Hauser, he shot for 54% from 3. All 21 of his points came from distance, 7 for 13. The Orange allowed Virginia to shoot 45 as a team from the floor. Couple that with Huff killing us down low, alley-oop after alley-oop, lob pass from Key Clark. He had 9 assists in some of that. He also went for 21 and 12 rebounds. And, UVA was even 50% from the floor. So that's a lot. That's ugly. Yeah. Now the ugly offense. 5 for 24 from 3, only good for 21% for Syracuse, and 36% from the floor. I said it before, at some point in a losing battle, I would like to see Edwards get some burn in there. I mean, at some point in there was just like 3 minutes left. They were gassed. There was no reason, in my opinion, not to play Jesse Edwards that night against UVA at some point. So that's my opinion. Finally, Syracuse was killed on the boards by 13, 41-28. So, Joe, when it comes to pretty much any game against ranked opponents these days, all I'm really looking for is for Syracuse to keep it within striking distance, give themselves a shot at the end. We kind of talked about that. That's kind of how I honestly thought this game was going to be able to go. It didn't. So what, if anything, Joe, do you take away from this game playing a ranked opponent at their place and kind of just getting snuffed totally? Let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you take away the fact that they just missed a lot of good looks and easy shots early and often, and then you get into a point in the second half where you're down in double digits and you start getting in panic mode, and then those shots turn into ugly shots or one-on-ones or hero ball just to try to, make something happen. And obviously that's just not the recipe for disaster against a team like Virginia. Tony Bennett, the team's always disciplined. They always play great defense. They always move the ball around, and they assisted on 23 of 29 baskets.
Yeah, Key Clark with 9 of them.
So they were moving the right. And this team, the way they have, we talked about it, they have better outside shooters, and they did kind of exactly what we thought they were going to do. They put their outside shooters in the outside. I didn't know about the only thing I didn't know was Key Clark going there in the, free throw line area and tossing up those alley-oops to Huff. There was obviously some defensive breakdowns. We lost Hauser a couple times. Once Murphy got hot, we should have kind of closed in on him. We knew who those shooters were, and you kind of got to make Key Clark shoot.
Yeah.
So I think that there was just so much, they were moving the ball around so good, so fast that I think Syracuse got caught up in chasing the wrong people, and just you have to be very, very disciplined and make the right people shoot the right shots against you. And on top of that, I mean, they shot above average, right? 50%, shooting 14 from 31 from 3. Obviously, you can't leave Hauser. We talked about that. And
just a tremendous outside shooter. And at 7 Huff, it's 7 Huff. Yeah, 7 Huff. 7-1 Huff down low, just kind of putting his stick in the ground and being like, come on, come and stop me. And
yeah, he's a tough player too. Those guys are tough. And I would have liked to have seen Quincy, get more early. I know he put up 16 shots, but a lot of that was kind of late, or in the second half. to Coach's point in the presser, we had the opportunities. We had the shots. We had open shots. Buddy missed a lot of open shots.
Yeah,
Dolzaj missed the bunny. I hate that he never uses the backboard there when he's that close.
He could have dunked one. He could have dunked one and
that's
and
what
tried
I'm saying.
to finger
The one
roll.
that was wide open,
Yeah.
but he tried to just toss it up and he missed it.
Yeah.
So
A lot of short shots too. A lot of like almost like hesitation shots where they're just hitting the front of the rim or airballing close.
Yeah. Right.
So-
And Virginia's a pretty good defensive team.
Pretty good.
I wish that Kadari would have been a little bit more aggressive, but he came in and the first time he tried to drive, Clark stole the ball from him, and I think that he was kind of
Rattled
a little bit after that. So, yeah, man, I mean, obviously we have to hit the shots, but hopefully we can just learn from this. Hopefully, when you lose to a good team like this, it's a little piece of humble pie, and we came in with some confidence, and then like you said, we got punched in the mouth and we just couldn't really recover, and then it turned into hero ball again. And I would like to see us play a lot more aggressive on the offensive end like we have been. But yeah, that and the fact that those rebounds, right? We talk about that every time. If we lose rebounds by double digits, we're most likely losing. And the only reason we lost by 23 was because we just didn't make shots at all.
And there was a comment, I think it was at Oil Cuse on Twitter, who said if we can keep the rebounds close, we can win almost anything. And we got crushed. And it wasn't even close. A lot of one and done for Syracuse. And the press just they press.
Well, and what I mean, it's just obviously it's math, right? Like if we don't shoot 36% or 21% from the three, then there's not the defensive rebounds to be had, because offensive rebounds was only 7-4.
Yeah, I know there wasn't many.
They beat us. It was 34-24 in the
though.
defensive rebound, right? If we hit our shots, they don't get that many points,
Right.
and then all of a sudden that means we're scoring, and then they're not getting rebounds. So that's how that whole thing works, right? And yeah, when you lose by 23 and you get out rebounded by 13, it's because you missed a bunch of shots.
Yeah. And, it wasn't that when we were doing the preview for this game, it wasn't that I thought they weren't going to be able to score. Their defense wasn't tough. I was just hoping, I guess, being very overly optimistic about the fact of Syracuse coming off of kind of a big win and kind of on, they were on a 2-game win streak and going into UVA maybe a little pumped up with a good game plan and having, a really good couple games where they played like a team. And that's what it's going to take. We know what it's going to take to win. And I really thought that if they stuck with that game plan going into there, I thought they would keep it close. We knew they were going to hit shots. You heard Coach in the presser. He said, we're going to give up something somewhere. And some of that's probably the shooting, more than likely. But
well, yeah, and especially with Tony Bennett, I'm not gonna lie to you. They brought up in his post game presser as well. When I listened to it, they brought up that 2016 was that when we beat them in the Elite Eight?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Something like that, right? And he's still a little sour about that. So I think that he takes it personally. I think when we play Syracuse, to make sure that I think he's found ways, and you can see he attacks the zone a lot different than a lot of coaches that attack the zone, and it works.
Well,
and
he's got guys that can make shots too, though.
Well, and he's got the personnel to do it, right? So but realistically, when you look at this game, when you're playing against this good of a team, they're going to. It's like you can't let them shoot those shots, right? You got to let Kiki Clark shoot. You got to hope that they don't shoot at the percentage that they do. And then you got to hope that you shoot an average percentage. So if we just shoot average and they shoot average and we just guard the right guys, then this is a game. But you can't shoot the percentages of shooting can't look like that against a number 8 ranked team. And you think you're going to win. It's not going to happen.
No, it's not even going to be close, which is why, valiant effort with the press and all this and that would have been nice to see. Would have been nice to see Edwards. All right, we will be right back to hear from you and fan feedback after this. All right, one more time, Bet Online. You know it. They're going the extra mile. Make sure you can get in on everything imaginable this season. You guys probably got this memorized right by now, right? From game spreads and totals to team, player, and coach and props, BetOnline is going to give you more options to wager than any other place online. Head over to BetOnline today. Use the promo code ARMCHAIR to take advantage of all of the great sign-up bonuses. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Thank you, BetOnline. Okay, it's time to hear from you.
It's time to hear from you, the loud mouths from the Loud House.
All right, you guys know what the deal is. You go there after the game to the socials. I'll ask for your thoughts on the game. You leave them. We bring them here, some of them, sometimes, and we talk about them. So I tried to really search around and find some new faces with some good comments. So I had an extra day to look at these. Okay. At CLandry10, if you think JB retiring is going to do anything positive for this program, you're completely and utterly clueless. Without him, Syracuse will be UConn or Georgetown. They're the same people that were up in arms when Hopkins left, and look at Washington. Boy, oh boy. Back in the Boeheim. What? You disagree with that? It depends on who comes in, right? But I mean, look, every time we go through this stint, look, this win, guys, and I know a lot of our people listening. They're pretty smart, okay, because they listen to the show. So I know that most of them probably know that this loss isn't that big of a deal. It hurts pride in more than anything. It doesn't really affect much else. So you get the anger, and the coach needs. I mean, we after every loss we hear this. So especially after a loss like that, you hear those cries for coach and to retire or be fired. He's never going to be fired, but to retire, and so I mean, I tend to believe that we don't know what we're going to get when Jim Boeheim's gone. We're struggling now. Well, what are we going to do? Who's going to fill that void? You assume Jerry McNamara, right?
I mean, yeah, you say that, but who really knows? Because there has been speculation about that. Obviously, Mike Hopkins is a hell of a recruiter, right? And even when he was at Syracuse, remember that little 10-game stint or whatever when Boeheim couldn't play and he was the interim coach?
Wasn't it 9? He went 4 for 5, I thought, maybe?
Something like that. It wasn't good, right?
Yeah, it wasn't great.
And then he went to Washington, and he did have a first good, couple years. And since then, it's kind of, he's putting guys in the NBA, so he's getting good recruits, but it just hasn't translated. So, again, I'm not trying to just say, okay, this is his first head coaching job, so it doesn't mean that, he's never going to be a good coach. But right now, it looks like he's more of a, assistant coach, top recruiter type guy, because that's what he's proven to do. And until he proves otherwise as a head coach, then it's kind of out. We don't really know. And as far as like GMAC or Griffin, the thing is the fans. I get it, the fans, but I don't know if the fans really want to go to just the next guy up who's just going to do the same thing.
Like the line, go down the Syracuse line, or do we bring in someone doesn't have a history with Syracuse? You look at Syracuse has been a family affair. Look at the coaching staff, and coach has been there, he played there.
Yeah, well, there's probably a lot of guys that are like, yeah, well, I mean, I'm fine with Jerry McNamara being the coach as long as he doesn't do 2-3 zone the whole time, right? Because this always comes up, right? And especially in a game like this, like we know that at this point it's not going to happen. But when you watch a game like this and you see this team just carving our zone up,
tearing it up,
there's fans that are like, you got to change. You got to change it up. You got to do. And yes, the 2-3 zone's forever changing, and the players have to definitely find the right guys. But there's some teams and some combinations when you get to like the real good teams where it doesn't really matter what you do in the 2-3 zone. I mean, how many years has he been coaching?
45th year, I believe, right now.
Yeah, something like that, right? So there's been 42 other national champions, right? Mm-hmm. That haven't played 100% zone. Yeah. So I'm just saying that is a situation where I think that the fans are going to want something new. They're going to want something different. And I think the last thing that they want, yes, but we all love Jerry McNamara. We all love, the old players and coaches, but are the fans going to want just an unproven guy to come in his first head coaching job and exclusively play 2-3 zone and just do the same thing that Boeheim did?
Well, my buddy, UVA fan, texted me during the game right after, right before the press started, and he said, do you think Jim Boeheim will ever switch to man? And I said, no. That's not going to happen.
And I'm not saying it is that that's on, like, that's the side that I'm on. I'm just saying that based upon the history, the past history of the past couple of years, I mean, even in just our podcast, like, fans call that whole thing out. They want to see change it up, man to man. When's coach going to retire? Da, 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 da. We've seen it all the time for 4 or 5 years now, right? Yeah. Something like that. So, like, I'm just talking as far as like the fan base, the young fan base. I just don't see a situation where that's what those type of fans are going to want.
Right. At one Kev Nash, he says Richmond, Griffin, Quincy, Braswell, or Woody, and Dolezaj. That's his lineup. He said with Richmond and Griffin, you get real athletic at the top of the zone, potentially more steals and ability to close out on shooters and cut off driving gaps. Yes, I know it won't happen. Thoughts? I left my thought. I want to see where you're at.
I just don't. I just think you have to be able to switch it up and kind of change your combos a little bit. And I think that that's a combo that should be in there. Now, coach did specify in the presser that we're playing the guys that are playing best in practice.
Right, which we already know. Right.
So I would like to see the combos change up more. I'd like to see there be a little bit more of in and out. You're more accountable for the mistakes that you make, because I just don't see a lot of these players that have earned that much. There's not a big difference between a lot of these players, and some of them haven't earned all of the minutes I think that they're actually receiving. So I would just like to see it be spread out more, get more guys out there, and just see what these guys can do. I don't necessarily think that we need to start these guys. Again, it's not about the starters. It's about what we do after we start the game and how we adjust to what's going on in the game and the other team's lineup.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just think that we miss the mark. Sometimes we hit it.
Right. Well, I was kind of along the same line. I mean, this is a lineup that I could see, that would be fun with Richmond and Griffin at the top of the zone. But,
but that's something you put in if Buddy and Joe isn't hitting.
Yeah. And, I just don't know about Braswell and Woody. Like, Braswell had one good game. And he hasn't, he didn't show much before, and he hasn't showed much after. But Woody, what have we seen? Like 5 minutes of him? I just don't know. I mean,
he had a couple good games. But,
I know, but I think if you have a Richmond, Joe, and then Griffin, Quincy, Dolezaj, it seemed to be the one that I like the best so far that I've seen.
But this can change from game to game, right?
It can change from minute to minute. Or
that's the one thing is that we've been consistently inconsistent going back to that.
Yeah.
That's just really what it is. We don't know what we're going to get out of him, but we've all seen, the Buddy at North Carolina in the first half where he comes in and just buries 3 or 4 shots in a row. We've all seen Joe do the same thing. And in Griffin, they just all don't do it the same game.
At James Zuba on Twitter, he said, it's all over. Might as well cancel the season now. There's no shot at making the tournament. It's going to be NIT. What's the point of even trying? I mean, he's got a great point. He's got a great point.
Lord.
He's got a great point. Just cancel the whole thing.
Just give up, right?
Just give up. Forget it.
That just must be his upset answer after the response he got from his question from Quincy.
And, obviously, James, king of sarcasm on Twitter. Tough to read, though, if you're not sure about it. At TR Will 6510, I'm frustrated as hell with this team. They played the same exact way at Pitt in 25 minutes. Won't even remember a thing about the game. Go Orange. You know what? That's a good attitude. I hate to have that attitude, but to be mad as hell and then just forget about it, that's kind of where you got to be. Unfortunately for me, like I came on the show after the Virginia Tech win. I'm like, hell yeah, I put on all my gear. I even had orange shoes on me. I went all over town. I knew I was going to see Tech fans out there. Well, I still wear my gear, but the orange shoes are staying home after the UVA loss. Just as many UVA fans around here. So at Donnie_Lake, it's one game. They played well the last two. I really didn't expect them to win or even play well. This is how this team is this year. Play 2 or 3 good games, then play a couple of stinkers. They are very inconsistent. Virginia, not a good matchup for them. Very true, Joe. He just piggybacked on what you said without even knowing it. And also, what did he say at the end here that caught my attention? Oh, the matchup. Well, that's what I was worried about was the big guys. So have we won a game this year where Syracuse went up against some decent bigs? I don't think so. No, they've all been guys our size or smaller, and they just haven't been able to do it. So when you
just bigger guys that don't have a lot of like offensive talent.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, well, I'll tell you what, Virginia's got some talented big guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if they come more talented. Like, seriously. That Hauser, he
North
can
Carolina's
shoot, bro.
tough too, but
yeah, I know, but
Hauser
they're inside guys. They're true inside guys. You got Hauser, he can do anything. He can go out and shoot. He could play inside. Obviously Huff, with his skill, he can do the same thing. He hit a 3 too.
Yeah, he hit a couple threes too, right?
One. I think he went 1 for 1. Huff did. Yeah.
But he shot over 30 in the season, so he can hit it.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe on Facebook. All game long, I was hoping that the Cuse offense would get hot. Didn't happen. Early in the first, they seemed to get away from. Early in the first, seems to get away from what they did last 2 games, pounding the ball down low. There, I said it. Easy for me to say.
Good job, bud. Good job.
Virginia shot really well.
Star.
I do believe I did personal pan pizza. I do believe, given a second opportunity, Cuse will win. Man, Virginia is good. Yeah, like I said, Joe, going into the game, I thought that should have been the strategy all along. It's easy for me to say because you could see how Virginia clogs up the lane when they get in there. And Richmond, he didn't know what to do. No one knew what to do when they really got in there. You have to pass it in there and kind of go from there. But not easy to penetrate. Look, we need better. Like, I think there's a comment on recruiting in here, so I'll just keep my mouth shut. Top fan Daryl on Facebook. Our guards can't defend. They are what they are at this point. No bench play. These players, no bench play. And what the hell would coach ask? Why the hell would coach ask these players to press after very little bench help? You're telling me that coach couldn't have played anyone else more off the bench? I really do not know where this program is headed. Thanks. Look, the thing about the press was that when they started it and it looked okay, I feel like they could. And my UVA buddy texted me. He said, "This is how Cuse can win. They need to create chaos." And he's a huge UVA fan, and he knows him very well. And he's like, they need to create chaos. He told me that before the game. And when they started to press, he's like, look, this is how they can win right here. And they did an excellent job at first. And then they were just turning the ball over, and they were getting it just tired them out. I just don't think they had the legs for it. So to Daryl's point, I mean, yeah, you can't press 3 quarters into the game when you only played 5 guys. Let's be honest.
Well, Richmond had 20.
Did he have 20? Holy cow! Yeah. Wow, I didn't know he had 20. But
Gerard only had 26.
Yeah. So. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, we just needed to make some shots, and the one thing with 6. Virginia, the one thing with Virginia is pace. I mean, they try to control the pace, and like we saw it back in the day when we came back against Virginia. Yeah, I mean, if you can like you say, create chaos, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, sometimes playing just a 2-3 zone back, like, yeah, we might be lengthy and everything like that, but this is a well-disciplined coach team, doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and to be able to go against a 2-3 zone versus something that's like an in-your-face man, like, kind of just helps him out, I mean, I completely missed, Trey Murphy for him coming out and shooting, getting 16 points, shooting 4
4
10
for
from
10.
the three.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's almost at 50%. He's like 49% for the season. He was transferred from Rice, and he came out and, I mean, he played really well too. So it just seemed like everything was going the right way for Virginia, and we couldn't hit open shots.
Yeah, it's simple. In basketball, and you watch it and you look at it, it's so much more simple to understand. Sometimes it doesn't need to be complicated, right?
Oh yeah. Well, we would have lost to a lot of teams shooting like this.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously, you have to give Virginia's defense credit for that too, but just a matter of fact.
Well, you mentioned the defense. You talk about discipline. Look, that pack line defense is, you have to be way more disciplined with that. I feel like, well, maybe equally, but still, they do such a good job. You have to be very disciplined with that too than with the zone. I mean, the zone, you can move. They have an actual barrier that they're not really allowed to go past the 3-point line unless one guy's allowed outside the 3-point line to guard the ball. One. You got our guys, they're all over the place and they can do whatever they want. They just chase the ball. But those guys are so good. And talk about discipline. I mean, and that's what Tony Bennett brings.
No, and that's the thing is part of the 2-3 zone is you're not supposed to chase the ball.
Exactly.
You're supposed to chase the players, right? So,
yeah.
You just need to know
because you got to shoot to beat it. That's what we always talk about. If they play it right, you got to shoot to beat it. And leaving them wide open is shooting to beat it, but shouldn't be that easy.
Oh no,
so
absolutely not.
Robert on Facebook. So Virginia is really good. 14 threes. Ouch. We have no answer for a true big man like Huff. Oh, and it would be nice if someone covered Hauser. On to the next. I mean, I'll say it again. We need someone down there other than Dolezaj. He just can't hang down there.
Yeah, we've been there. This is when we figured out, we're a different team with Dolezaj. That's it. That's the bottom line. When you saw at the end of the year how he was playing and you take that away from us, then that's tough. Yeah, we could have these other good players that can come in and play, but that's killing us.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, CDB. So, I have to eat a little bit of crow because I know that I downplayed Virginia a little bit, but I thought it was rightfully so based on their schedule.
I explained to myself, though, too, is that I thought Syracuse would come in and play better. I've expected that out of UVA. It's just that Syracuse didn't live up to my expectations. I was way too optimistic on them going into that game. Was it the early turnaround? I mean, I have no idea.
I mean, I wasn't expecting that from UVA. I knew that they could do it, but I was kind of hoping that, you get in a game where maybe they miss a couple and you're at their place. And that's really the one thing is that we missed so many just chippies and easy shots and wide open shots, good shots in the first half. And we're down 9. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking man, if we can just come out and we can just get a couple stops and just hit some shots and put some pressure on them to be able to make it a little bit difficult for them, then we could be back in this. And then we just continue to miss. And when you have teams that are, when you're up and you have that momentum and you're playing carefree, you can get in this zone where you're hitting everything. And that's what happened last night. And we started scrambling because we were losing our lead, or they were gaining their lead more and more and more. And we just hero ball. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And, that's where we can't play. We're not going to win there. So we have to be able to control ourselves to be able to, there was plenty of times last night where I was like, calm down, use plenty of time, just get a 2, pass the ball. No, hero ball, 1-on-1 jumper.
Yeah. By the way, it wasn't last night.
Sorry, 2 nights ago.
Yeah. Okay. Jason on Facebook, Dolezaj played the whole game, 8 points, 5 rebounds. The guy he was covering, 21 points, career high, 12 rebounds, career high. SU has no chance at the tournament. Wow. Jason.
No chance at the tournament.
Well, first of all, we've got to even get into the talks. I know that the net has us hovering. I know that Ken Pom has us hovering. But, we got to string together some good wins. We got to get some good wins. We got to string together some wins. And also, be more consistent. And unfortunately, if you look back and you think about it, really, if we take one of those Pitt games, preferably the second one, even though that would have been the tougher one to take. But that would be, the outlook would be totally different right now. You lose both of those games. That sucks. Really, really.
Well,
bad.
to that comment, looking at
Yes.
ESPN, Mark Dolezaj is marked at 6'10", 201 pounds, which is baloney. Anyway,
I was just about to say he is 6'10", but I think they say he's 6'10", but he was 6'9" last year, right?
So ESPN says 6'10",
185,
201 pounds.
right?
Jay Huff 7'1", 240 pounds. So that kind of gives you a little bit of an explanation there.
Yeah, just massive. And 201 is it looks.
Yeah,
it seems like it seems
it's a power forward versus center.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Jeff on Facebook. This team is streaky, very Jekyll and Hyde. They show up and look great one game, the next game they look lethargic. Bad defense, turnovers, very at very inopportune times. Well, yeah, I talked about the ones that I saw that bothered me were the Kadari when he was coming off the bench, and then the ones during the press. That's just sucked the life out of that because they actually came out strong on the press, and it just once they turned the ball over, I think it was the first 2 steals that they got, they gave them right back. It just because UVA was rattled with that. We got within 11 doing that. Now, if you're more efficient with it and you got some more legs, I mean, they make a run. That's how we've beaten UVA in the past.
Right.
That's how we've done it. So, I don't, it is very Jekyll and Hyde. And, this is Mahir. Oh, top fan Mahir on Facebook. Absolutely no reason for Buddy to play that much and do absolutely nothing. I don't care. This team can move the ball, but whenever the ball gets in Buddy's hands, it doesn't leave. He doesn't pass, whatever. I knew this game was going to be a blowout. Just get some rest and practice. Also, hate these Sunday, Monday turnarounds. Just saying. So, I've been holding my tongue on Buddy because I knew I had this in the pile. So, Buddy, man, he's got to do something else, man. He's got to do more. At some point, he's got to do more for this team. He's a junior. Like, let's go. We've been in the Buddy thing has not evolved into what I would expect it to be in year 3. Unfortunately, I'm not Buddy bashing. I love Buddy, and I know what he's capable of. But I mean, this dude is either hot or not. Like, there is no in between with him. And
Really?
Joe, why are you so quiet? Huh?
Really?
Yeah, really. I mean, what do you think? Didn't you expect more out of Buddy coming into his junior year halfway through the season? Didn't you expect more?
No, maybe more consistency. Yeah.
Well, okay,
But
that's more.
I think that's where it gets tricky because you want to keep Buddy in there because of the fact that, like, okay, let's see what happens, right?
Right, and I agree with that. Like, when people are
in the beginning, you're like, oh, none if he's not hitting in the beginning, and then you get in a situation like this where you're down 15, you're like, well, we know this guy can get hot at any second, so you're not going to take him out.
Well, he had the lowest offensive rating on the team at a 53, according to Ken Palm.
Yeah, well, but on top of that, though, he missed a lot of just open shots that he should have hit. You know, he just had a bad shooting game.
Which he's done a lot of. He's done a lot of that.
Because usually he's good for a half, right?
Yeah.
At least a half.
Sure.
I mean, that's the way I look at Buddy as far as like his floor. Mm-hmm. Because his ceiling's high. When he's on fire and he's hitting everything, his ceiling's high.
Yeah.
But I look
expect
at him
at least one good half, though.
I expect him to be able to get 14 to 16 points a game, and most of it, or a majority of it, coming in one of the 2 halves, because usually that's kind of in the history. That's kind of he's had more games like that than anybody else I can remember in the last past however many years. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, and just this game he didn't get it, and I don't know why. He's been inconsistent, and hopefully he can get it right. But I don't know. Bro. I know you want to take it by a or a game by game basis, and I think that if it was a closer game, then maybe it would have been a situation where he would have taken him out and he wouldn't have played as much minutes. But
I don't like, to your point though, and to go against the grain on what a lot of the feedback we get is, I agree with you that it's tough to take him out because if he hits a couple, they could be game changers. He hit 2 threes, 6 points. I mean, we were down by 15 a couple times. You hit 2 of those, all of a sudden we're down by 9 points.
right.
It's a huge momentum shifter. He's one of the only ones that is out there that can do it.
I mean, we got
him or
we got
Joe.
about 3 guys that
You got
can
him
do
or Joe.
that. I mean, even Alan Griffin, right?
Oh yes, gosh, wow, that was rude of me. Yeah, Alan Griffin.
I'm just saying, the thing is that they're just all inconsistent, and you get certain games like this where you're talking about 4 of 18 from the 3-point line between all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, Buddy with the bulk of the misses. And
1 of 7. Griffin 1 of 5. Gerard 2 of 6.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and Braswell 1 of 4. He was put in to shoot the 3 from that corner spot. Or not the corner of the court, but you know what I'm talking about.
No, yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. He was put in to shoot 3s from there. He missed his first 2. He hit 1. And, you know, if Robert Braswell comes in and does that, then that's a whole nother ball game too. And I think he's capable of it too, man. I think a lot of his stuff is just nerves and confidence and just experience, which, to my point, like I said, those guys need to get more burn. You're down by freaking 20 points. You're getting, you're getting killed.
Tough.
You're not gonna win the game.
No, and that's tough, right? Think about his, like you said, confidence. He's not playing all game. You're down 15, and you're like, all right, man, we're putting you in. Go hit a couple threes against number 10 team or 8 team in the country.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, all right. And then, all right, I'm cold. I'm coming off the, you know what I mean? Like,
I know. It's a tough spot.
I mean, it's a tough spot.
Both of those guys, you know, I would say are in a tough spot. But, and Jesse, if you want to throw him in there, the 3, Kadari, Braswell, and Edwards, they're all in a tough spot, man.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is just a game that got away from them. And you got to be able to keep it close in the second half against a team like this on the road to allow them to feel the pressure so that they're not just playing carefree as far as when they're shooting and stuff like that. You got pressure, you miss shots, you make mistakes, and you just got to keep it close. And even though it was at 9 at half, it should have been way closer. And
yeah, we got killed in like the last minute,
right,
of the half. Yeah, should have been way closer.
So it should have been way closer, and we missed a lot of easy, good shots, and that's just what's going to happen. That 100% defines why it's 81-58, and the rebounding is what it is. We just need to make. You have to be able to make shots at a good, decent clip against a team like that.
Yep. Well, so much for a short show. Sorry, guys. I kind of had a feeling it was going to go there. We're like, we can do a short show. We'll do the NC State preview later. We'll talk about it.
Well, the next one's going to be shorter because we had to talk about the game, fan feedback. I mean,
yeah, I suppose. All right. Well, look, I want to thank all of you. I love you guys, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming and listening. Thanks for getting on the fan feedback. Appreciate all of that. I want to thank Bet Online and Live CBD. Appreciate it. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
peace.